Have you ever felt that you were focusing on different things at the same time and that made you feel absent-minded? Well, I have. Growing up, I was a very outgoing girl. I loved experiencing everything, but I wasn't able to play with my toys for more than 10 minutes because after that, I would get bored. Besides this problem, I wasn't able to focus and I was a very disorganized child. Like you could always find my toys in the bathroom sink or my pillow on the kitchen's floor. I also had trouble focusing on one matter at a time. I was 6 years old, I was in school, and in the middle of a class, I asked my teacher that if I could use the restroom. As I was on my way to the restroom, I saw a door, and I decided to go and see where does that door open up to. Well, an hour went by, and I was missing, so the whole school was searching for me until one of the teachers found me wandering in our gym. They asked me, "What were you doing? Why didn't you go back to your class?" And I told them I forgot. This was getting out of control. So my parents and I decided to go and pay a visit to a psychologist. They did a few tests on me, and then I was diagnosed with ADD. Now, what is ADD? Attention Deficit Disorder is a neurological disorder that causes range behavior problems, such as not being able to keep up with school assignments. They usually have difficulty attending to instructions. They won't be able to focus, and they usually do not finish a task on time. ADD is one of the 3 subtypes of another disorder called ADHD. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder has the same meaning, but the difference between ADD and ADHD is that people who have ADHD are hyperactive, and people who have ADD aren't hyper at all. Some of the symptoms for ADHD is that they usually struggle to wait for their turn, they're always talkative, and they're bursting out with energy. In some cases, they describe ADD symptoms as inattention, distractibility, and poor working memory. I remember my mum used to tell me to put a cup on a table and bring back the plate that was on the table back to her. I always forgot about the plate because I was only focusing on the cup. Some people believe that people who have these kind of disorders aren't smart. In fact, ADD has nothing to do with how smart a person is. In some cases, people who have ADD are really smart on IQ tests. Many are in the average range and others are much lower. ADD and ADHD aren't rare disorders, so you might have friends who have these kind of disorders. Plus, there are a lot of celebrities who had this disorder while growing up, such as Simone Biles, Michael Phelps, Justin Timberlake, Eminem, Adam Levine, Will Smith, Jim Carrey, Walt Disney. There are also some TV characters that represent people who had ADD or still have ADD, such as Phoebe in the TV show of Friends, Barney in the TV show of How I Met Your Mother, and Bart from The Simpsons. When I was diagnosed, I either had to choose the pills or to just live with it for a few years. ADD isn't a long-time disorder. Because I was diagnosed with ADD medium, mine only lasted for a few years, so my parents didn't choose the pills. Plus, the pills had a few side effects, such as trouble sleeping and heart palpitation and loss of appetite. But keeping in mind that a lot of people use this medication and they do not have serious side effects. So at first, we didn't take the risk, but this disorder was causing me a lot of stress. Like whenever I forgot my books in school, I would have stressed till the moment I found them. Or another thing that was hurting me were my grades. Because I wasn't able to focus, I usually didn't get very good grades, and my friends' scores were really high. That made me feel that I was dumb and not enough. And again, because of my grades, I was stressed. So my parents decided to start giving me the pills. The pills are called Ritalin. I took it only for 5 months, and after that 5 months, I started seeing a therapist about my stress. She advised me that if I could control my nervousness and stress, I didn't need to use the pills anymore. So I did as she told me. I had a few sessions with that therapist and my ADD got better. And after a while, it was gone. Sometimes I wish I knew some adjuvant therapy. Whenever you search adjuvant therapy in the internet, you won't be able to find good results. They will usually give you neurofeedback or plans, and those didn't work for me. The things that helped me during this long journey were 3 things. The first one was writing. Like whenever I had an exam, I would write every single little detail down so that whenever I was stressed before an exam, I could just take a quick look at it, and that made me calm. The second thing I wish I had was that to normalize these kind of disorders and make the society aware. Like, what are these kind of disorders? How do they affect? What are the symptoms? And how do the people who have these disorders feel? Because that will make some people aware that they have this disorder, and the society will be able to accept it. The third thing that helped me was that I didn't saw it as a dead end or an obstacle that made life a bit hard. I saw it as a challenge that I need to complete, and well, that worked better than the pills for me. All in all, this was a really hard and long journey. I learned to see disorders or disabilities as a challenge that we need to complete, and that made me improve a lot in life. In my belief, hard challenges in life make us who we are. Now, the main question is, if you have something that makes life a bit hard, such as a disorder or a disability, do you see it as a dead end or as a challenge you need to complete? The answer will change your life.